My child, listen to me now, because this is not just another video. This is a divine interception. I, the Lord your God, am speaking directly to you. Not by accident, not by coincidence. Heaven is watching you today. Yes, you. Right now. Every breath you take, every decision you weigh, every battle you hide beneath a quiet smile. I see it all. And this moment, it's sacred. What I'm about to reveal carries weight, prophetic weight. And if you turn away too soon, you'll miss the one word your spirit has been aching for. So stay. Don't scroll. Don't blink. Don't treat this like noise in the background. Watch until the very end, because what I've prepared is not light, it's life. What begins as a whisper will end in a heaven-shaking revelation. And by the time this ends, you'll know beyond doubt, heaven wasn't just watching, it was speaking. Directly. You. My beloved child, stop everything you're doing and lean in closer than you've ever leaned before. Heaven is not peering through a distant lens, waiting for you to mess up. No, that's not how I watch you. I don't sit on a throne of judgment counting your failures. I sit upon the throne of mercy, clothed in compassion, my eyes burning with the fire of a love that never wavers. Right now, this very second, I am watching you, not as the world watches, not as men do with criticism or comparison, but with the gaze of a father whose heart beats for you with eternal affection. Heaven is not distracted. The hosts of angels are not preoccupied. I have directed divine focus toward your life because I want you to know you are not invisible. You are not background noise in a crowded world. You are the reason I orchestrated this moment, this message, this divine interruption. You have been seen in secret, and I have recorded every act of courage, every whispered prayer, every trembling yes you've uttered in the silence. When you thought you were unnoticed, when your soul whispered, "Does anyone even care?" Heaven answered with a resounding why yes. I watched when you held on while others let go. I watched when you stood in rooms filled with noise and chaos, carrying pain that no one else discerned. You wore your strength like armor, but I saw the cracks underneath. I noticed when you smiled through shattered hopes, when you lifted others even as you were sinking, when you gave love freely while you yourself felt empty. This is not just a poetic notion, child. This is reality in the spirit. My eyes are on you, not to condemn but to champion, not to critique but to celebrate. You are not some passing figure in a sea of names. I know your voice. I know your scent. I know the rhythm of your heartbeat. The weight of your weariness has not been overlooked. The fire of your faith has not gone out unnoticed. You think you're just surviving, but I see you thriving in ways even you can't yet measure. And that's why heaven is watching you, not to tally up mistakes, but to testify of your strength. You are not on trial. You are on record. And the record of your endurance is echoing through eternity. My beloved, how often have you walked into rooms where no one looked up, where your presence seemed to stir no recognition, no response, no welcome? I have seen you there, entering quietly, offering pieces of your heart through service, through love, through small acts of goodness that no one clapped for, no one thanked. And yet, while people passed you by, while friends overlooked, while your worth was measured by shallow standards and fleeting moments, I never turned away. I did not miss the way you tried. I did not ignore the sigh behind your smile, the ache behind your laughter, the loneliness beneath your loyalty. While others measured you by what they could extract or gain, I measured you by what you endured in silence. And right now, yes, now, not someday, not later, the throne of glory has swiveled toward your life. Heaven's full attention is fixed on you, not in pity, but in promise. The weight of your prayers, the residue of your tears, the fragrance of your faith, it has risen like incense and captivated my court. The angels are not silent concerning you. They speak your name in reverence, not because you're flawless, but because you are faithful. They've seen what I've seen, the way you stood in the shadows and still worshipped, the way you kept sowing while your hands were trembling, the way you lifted your eyes to me when despair tried to cement your gaze to the ground. You've lived among people who didn't see your value because they were looking with worldly eyes, distracted by loudness, blind to depth. But my child, I am the God who sees in stillness. I am the God who values the quiet resilience, the sacred endurance, the kind of faith that doesn't flaunt but burns unshakable beneath the surface. I want you to hear me, really hear me. My throne has turned toward you. Not toward the impressive, not toward the celebrated, not toward the loud, but toward the pure in heart who never stopped believing I was watching, even when no one else did. Let me speak this into your soul with fire and finality. Heaven's gaze is not generic. It is precise. It is pointed. It is personal. I am not distracted by kingdoms or empires. I am not too busy balancing galaxies to look upon your face. I didn't delegate this moment to an angel or assign it to a prophet. I came myself to tell you this truth with my own breath. You matter to me more than the stars, more than the singing choirs of seraphim, more than the gold of Solomon's temple. Your life is etched into my glory. You are not in the corner of my attention. You are at the center of it. And what others have failed to affirm in you, I have sealed in the records of heaven. You've asked, why does it feel like no one sees me? And I answer, because I've hidden you for myself. I've preserved the weight of your worth until the hour I could reveal it with undeniable clarity. That hour, my child, is now. You see, I do not simply watch you as one watches a film or a parade. I watch you with involvement, with divine participation. Every move you make, every decision you weigh, every temptation you resist, I am in it with you. I am not an audience. I am an advocate. The throne is not silent. It is active. Heaven is not a theater. It is a command center of angels, of strategies, of movement. And right now, that movement is gathering around you. I am releasing divine acceleration, not because you begged louder than others, but because your posture drew me. You didn't compete. You trusted. You didn't clamor for attention. You remained available. You didn't perform. You persevered. And now my gaze is not passive, it is prophetic. I am watching you because I'm about to lift you. I am watching you because I've timed your moment for glory. And my child, there is nothing anyone can do to reverse what I've decreed. The throne has turned. And when my glory turns toward someone, it changes everything. Child, you've cried in places where no one could hear you. You fought battles not on grand stages, but in quiet corners, behind closed doors, beneath your breath, beneath your dignity. You've laid awake at night, listening to the war within, praying that someone, anyone, would notice the struggle, the weight, the invisible wars that no one seemed to care about. But I was there. I was there in the sighs you never voiced. I was there in the questions you dared not ask out loud. I caught the tear that no pillow could absorb. I heard the silent screams behind your eyes when you walked into work, into family gatherings, into church even, and smiled because you had no other choice. But just because no one else saw, don't you dare believe I missed it. Heaven has seen it all. I have a record, a divine archive, of every uncelebrated act of obedience, Every time you chose holiness over compromise. Every moment you held your tongue when injustice boiled your blood. And child, I am not unjust. I do not forget. I do not overlook. Every single breath you've taken hath been counted as worship when you chose to keep breathing in pain rather than quit in bitterness. Let me speak this with clarity only heaven can carry. You are not a statistic in the crowd. You are a story unfolding under heaven's gaze. I have watched you get up again when life knocked the wind out of your lungs. I saw you whisper amen with cracked lips. I saw you pick up your Bible when your soul felt too heavy to lift. I saw you dance without music, pray without feeling, sow without seeing a single sign of harvest. I saw you serve the very people who hurt you. I saw you believe the very promises that seemed to delay. You didn't fake your faith. You favre. You didn't display your devotion. You demonstrated it when no one was watching. That is what moves me. That is what moves angels to act. That is what moves heaven's hand. Not perfection, not performance, but persistence in the unseen. Do you understand, child, that the battles you fought in silence have not only been noticed, they've been honored in my presence. I stood at the edge of your bed when you couldn't sleep. I sat beside you in the car when your tears blurred the road. I walked with you into places where you had to pretend you were okay. And while the world applauded others, I applauded you in secret. You don't know this, but angels were dispatched not in response to loud declarations, but in response to your quiet yes. You don't realize the power that echoed through my courts the moment you chose to praise me while bleeding. I am not a distant God. I am not aloof or disengaged. I am the God who documents even the tremble in your breath. I am the God who attends your every whisper like royalty. And my reward is not delayed. It is developing. You are about to see that every unseen battle carried weight. Every private war has public reward. Every hidden tear has holy power. So when the voices rise again to tell you, you've done nothing, you gone nowhere, you've been forgotten, remember who is watching. Remember who has seen it all. I don't need crowds to confirm your worth. I don't need applause to validate your calling. I need your surrender. And you've given me that. Again and again, without recognition, without assurance. And so I am declaring, nothing has been wasted. Nothing hidden has been ignored. Heaven has seen it all. And now, child, heaven is moving because of it. My beloved, lean in closer. For what I am about to reveal may stretch your understanding, but it will also soothe your soul. You have never been alone, not for a single second. Though it may have felt like your prayers vanished into the night sky, though it may have seemed like the room was filled only with your echoing questions, you were never abandoned. Your story has not been unfolding in isolation. I assigned angels to you before your first breath, not out of obligation but out of deep delight. From the first moment your heart began to beat, they stood watch, guardians of your destiny, silent sentinels of your journey. And in the seasons where proof was nowhere to be seen, when your senses screamed that I was silent, they hovered still, whispering courage into your soul when you had no strength left to whisper it to yourself. Yes, a child. When your faith felt fragile, when the foundations shook, when you walked blindly into days covered with fog, I didn't condemn your questions. I collected them. I stored them like treasure. And the angels, they documented every act of courage in the dark. Every time you chose to believe when evidence betrayed you. Every time you prayed into a silence that felt endless. Every time you offered praise that felt like a risk. Those moments didn't disappear. They were written in divine ink, etched into eternity. Every flicker of faith, no matter how faint, has been recorded in the sacred archives of glory. Heaven does not overlook what earth often does. And while people reward outcomes, I reward obedience. While the world celebrates performance, I honor persistence. And your persistence, my child, has not gone unnoticed. Let me say it this way: heaven is a witness. Not passive, not neutral, but active. Angelic witnesses have walked with you through fires you didn't even know were fires. They saw when you smiled through heartbreak, when you gave your last without receiving, when you forgave what others said was unforgivable. These weren't just moral victories. They were prophetic proclamations. They declared to every realm that you belong to me. And because you belong to me, I ensured that not one sacred moment of surrender was wasted or forgotten. The hosts of heaven have marveled, not at your perfection, but at your posture. You've walked through days when darkness tried to define you, but you refused to give in. You wore your hope like armor, even when it cracked. And child, that kind of trust is louder than thunder in my courts. And now the records that were once being written in silence are about to be read aloud in demonstration. I will honor publicly what you sowed privately. You will begin to see evidence of those angelic assignments, the doors that open with no explanation, the protection you can't quantify, the favor that feels too tailor-made to be coincidence. It's not random. It's not luck. It's not chance. It's me. It's heaven. It's the fruit of the faith you carried when there was no proof to lean on, only trust in my name. Your story is not over. In fact, the most holy chapters have just begun. And I, your God, am both the author and the witness. Now pause with me here, child. Still your thoughts, and let me be louder than your fears for a moment. You may have imagined me as distant, far off, high above, too consumed with the grandeur of the universe to be intimately concerned with your daily ache. But that picture isn't accurate. That idea isn't truth. I am not far. I am closer than the breath you just inhaled. And more than that, I'm leaning in. I have paused the orchestration of galaxies to read the lines of your story. Like a poet cherishing each stanza, like an author flipping back through the pages of a manuscript written in blood, I am focused entirely on you. This is not a general gaze. This is specific. This is divine fixation. I have not simply noticed you. I have been enthralled by you. Let me reveal the gravity of this moment. Right now, the King of Kings, the Lord of Hosts, the Alpha and the Omega has paused the rhythm of eternity to gaze fully upon your heart. Not in impatience, not in frustration, but in deep, reverent love. Yes, reverence. Because the fire that still burns in you, after all you've walked through, has become a holy flame in my temple. I lean in, not because I must, but because I want to. I want to hear your thoughts, your fears, your desires, even the ones you feel are too small or silly to share. To me, nothing about you is insignificant. If it moves you, it matters to me. The shifting of your emotions, the trembling of your hopes, the flicker of longing in your midnight prayers, I feel it all. I attend to every nuance of your soul like a master artisan handling sacred scrolls. Do you understand, my child? You are not just observed. You are cherried. You are studied. You are known. And the knowing is not distant, but deliberate. I lean in because your life is not ordinary to me. It is holy ground. The pages of your story are being turned by divine fingers. I read your past with mercy, I read your present with compassion, and I read your future with unstoppable hope. I don't skim your pain. I sit in it with you. I don't rush past your waiting. I watch it unfold with the patience of eternity. And every word you've spoken in trust, every decision made in the dark, every moment you chose me over the world, I highlight it. I underline it. I smile over it. I'm not keeping score. I'm keeping record. And the record is sacred. So, the next time you wonder if I've noticed, remember this. I didn't just glance in your direction. I leaned in. I didn't just acknowledge you. I prioritized you. And not because of what you've done, but because of who you are to me. You are not a chapter I skip over. You are the chapter I pause to savor. Heaven may be vast, but my heart is narrow when it comes to you. I give you my full gaze. Let that reality wash over your fears. Let it undo the lies of worthlessness. Let it heal the wounds of being overlooked. Because I see you. I always have. I always will. And my gaze is never without purpose. It's the beginning of divine release. Beloved, come closer now. Let your heart breathe in the truth. I've waited for this precise moment to pour over you. You've walked through long corridors of service, sacrifice, and selflessness, and the halls were quiet. You've poured out from places of emptiness, loved from reservoirs no one refilled, and stood in shadows where no hand reached out to pull you into the light. Not once did you ask for reward. Not once did you demand recognition. And yet I saw you look around in moments, wondering, does anyone see what I'm carrying? Does anyone notice what I'm laying down in secret? And here I am, whispering across the veil of heaven into your heart. Yes, I see. Yes, I've noticed. Yes, I've recorded every step. You see, the world measures with applause, but I measure with alignment. They wait for noise. I wait for height. They give crowns to those in the spotlight. I give kingdoms to those in surrender. When you thought your days were quiet and unseen, I was chronicling each one like chapters in a book too holy for human hands. I saw when you encouraged others while your own soul starved for a kind word. I saw when you helped others heal while your wounds still bled beneath your clothes. I saw when you kept showing up, with consistency, with humility, with tenderness, even when your own needs went unmet. Heaven doesn't operate on human currency. We don't pay in praise. We reward in purpose. Your consistency in the unseen was not wasted, not forgotten. It has been stored in vaults of glory, reserved for a moment such as this. Let me be precise, because this must pierce through the noise of every lie that tried to tell you otherwise. I don't record deeds the way man does. I record depth. I don't celebrate charisma. I honor character. Every time you said yes when no would have been easier, every time you turned the other cheek when retaliation tempted your soul, every time you offered love that wasn't returned, I documented it. Not as a judge tallying performance, but as a father treasuring faithfulness. I did not record your actions to examine them. I recorded them to remember them, to redeem them, to reward them. And now, child, the record of your perseverance is echoing through eternity. The applause you never received on earth is thundering in heaven. And I am preparing a public unveiling of what was sown in your silent seasons. But don't mistake my timing as delay. I was preserving, not postponing. I was storing, not ignoring. You've cried tears over being overlooked, but I was writing your legacy while others clapped for temporary sparks. You've carried the weight of destiny without the comfort of approval, but I am about to shift the script. What was ignored by men will be highlighted by me. I have not missed a step. I have not missed a sigh. I have not missed a single day of your journey. I recorded every one because every one was sacred. And now, beloved, I am opening the scroll, not to remind you of what you've done, but to show you what I am about to do because of it. Child, let's talk about the private places. The places where the camera doesn't capture, the audience doesn't sit, the applause doesn't ring out. The sacred moments where your heart was split between what was easy and what was right. When temptation knocked loudly, when compromise stood inches away, and no one would have known if you said yes. But you didn't. You walked away. You chose integrity over indulgence. You chose truth over convenience. You chose me, not because it earned you applause, but because it aligned with who I created you to be. That kind of obedience, child, it shakes realms. That kind of decision doesn't disappear. It is immortalized in the vaults of heaven. You gave grace when anger would have felt better. You stayed silent when you had every right to retaliate. You honored when others dishonored. You forgave without receiving an apology. You took the higher road when the lower one would have satisfied your pain. And you did it in secret. In your kitchen. In your car. In your room. With your jaw clenched and your spirit trembling, you whispered, "I choose you, Lord." And I heard it. I didn't just hear the words, I heard the weight behind them. I heard the war inside you. I heard the ache that decision cost you. And I celebrated. The angels marveled. You don't understand, child. The secret places are the proving grounds of royalty. What you chose behind closed doors has qualified you for what I'm opening in public spaces. The grace you gave when you wanted to collapse, that was an act of supernatural strength. You thought you were just being kind. You thought you were just being good. But I call it kingdom work. I call it covenant faithfulness. And I have seen every single moment. Not with indifference. With oath. Because what you've done in secret carries the kind of weight that no platform could sustain unless it was forged in my presence. What others do for recognition, you did out of reverence. What others shouted from rooftops, you whispered in prayer. And child, it is those whispers that have stirred heaven to respond. Let me say it clearly. Your private choices have positioned you for public release. This is not about earning blessing. This is about qualifying your vessel. You've been pruned, not punished. You've been hidden, not held back. I saw every invisible act of holiness. And now the time has come. The same integrity that cost you comfort is now going to anchor the promotion I'm bringing. You will carry influence without being corrupted by. You will carry power without performing for it. Because you were refined in secret, you are ready for what I'm about to release in the open. Heaven saw it all. And now, child, heaven is about to respond with a reward shaped exactly like your obedience. Today is not just another date on a calendar, my beloved. It is not a routine sunrise or a normal rotation of time. Today carries a weight, a holy weight, because I have wrapped this moment in divine intent. You may not feel it yet. You may still be waking up under the cloud of yesterday's disappointments or tomorrow's uncertainties. But even now, as you breathe in and exhale, the very air around you is heavy with my presence. Every second of today has been carved with precision by my hand. It is not empty. It is not accidental. This day is a throne room invitation dressed as ordinary life. You're not just walking through hours. You're walking into alignment. You're stepping into a sequence that heaven has choreographed for breakthrough. Can you feel it, child? The stillness that doesn't feel like silence but expectation. The subtle awareness that something is hovering just beyond the veil. That's not imagination. That's my presence. The atmosphere is responding to my word. The wind, the temperature, the very pulse of the unseen realm is shifting around your steps because I have leaned in. When I come close, the mundane trembles. The routine starts to rupture. What you thought would be just another day is now being rearranged as a holy doorway. There is a tremor of the divine beneath your ordinary. I have placed signatures of my intention all around you. Divine fingerprints on door handles, sacred signals in phone calls, holy hints in the kindness of strangers. You don't need fireworks to know I'm near. Listen to the silence. It's saturated. Watch the ordinary. It's glowing with glory. This day is different because I've walked into it with you in mind. I need you to wake up to this moment with your spirit, not just your senses. Because what I'm doing isn't loud, but it's lasting. You may not hear trumpets, but the angels are already singing. You may not see a crowd, but the cloud of witnesses is standing in awe. The King of Glory has made an appearance in your timeline, not to spectate, but to shift, to stir, to shake. I am unraveling delay. I am dismantling patterns. I am disarming the lies that tried to tie this day to your past. You see, child, today's a severing and a sewing. I am severing the cords of what held you back, and I am sewing together the tapestry of what will carry you forward. You thought today would be quiet. I say today is consecrated, and heaven is responding, not to your performance, but to my presence in your life. So don't shrug off this day. Don't rush through it as if it holds nothing. It holds everything. I have hidden miracles in moments. I have disguised deliverance in details. This isn't just time passing, it's time pregnant with prophecy. I am here, right now. And because I am here, this moment is no longer common. This air is no longer empty. It is electric. It is sacred. And as you move through this day with open eyes and a ready heart, you will begin to catch it, the holy interruptions, the divine whispers, the inexplicable peace that wasn't there yesterday. You will see the signs and know, heaven was watching me and heaven was waiting for this day to begin writing what only glory could author. Today is not just time, it is testimony in the making. Come here, beloved. Sit in this moment with me. I want to talk to the part of you that no one sees, the version of you that smiles publicly and breaks privately. You've been walking a long road, carrying promises that haven't yet unfolded, clinging to prayers that feel like they dissolve into the ceiling, holding fast to hope even when it trembled in your hands like a flickering flame. I know how hard it's been. I watched when your knees hit the floor in desperation, when your voice cracked from praying the same words again and again, when your heart whispered, God, I'm trying. I'm really trying. And you've tried to be faithful when answers were absent, when the heavens felt closed, and when your strength felt like sand slipping through your fingers. But child, hear me now. I never looked away. I know you thought, maybe he's disappointed in me. Maybe my doubt has disqualified me. But that's not truth. That's torment. Your doubt didn't disqualify you. Your trying didn't go unnoticed. Faithfulness is not perfection. Faithfulness is persistence. And you persisted. When others walked away, you walked further in. When others gave up, you gave again. When others cursed the waiting, you worshipped in it. You didn't get it right every time, but you showed up anyway. You stayed. You stood. You waited with a trembling hope and a tired soul. That's not weakness, child. That's warrior strength. That's heaven-marked perseverance. And I want you to know something the enemy never wanted you to believe. Every moment of your trying was measured as worship in my presence. Yes, even the weak yes you mumbled through tears counted more than the loud declarations of those who have never been tested. You carried heavy hope like a crown, even when it felt like a cross. You've kept believing even when the evidence mocked you. You've trusted me with your future while your present felt like rubble. And that kind of faith is not fragile, it's fire. I've used that fire to refine, not punish. To prepare, not delay. You thought nothing was happening, but everything was. In the silence, I was building. In the waiting, I was weaving. In the weariness, I was working. Your trying was never a waste. It was the turning point. It was the raw material I used to shape a glory you couldn't yet see. And now, beloved, I'm about to show you the harvest of every halting step of obedience. So do not despise the season where all you did was try. I honor the one who keeps coming back with empty hands but an open heart. I honor the one who stays when everything screams to run. I honor you. Your faithfulness has not gone unnoticed, and your fatigue has not been judged. I'm not just aware of your trying, I'm proud of it. And now, the trying is becoming triumph. Not because the wait was short, but because the wait didn't steal your yes. You held on, even when your grip was weak. And I'm holding you. Now watch, child. What I'm about to release will feel like the weight of hope being lifted, and the wind of my promise finally blowing at your back. You tried, and I never stopped watching. Now I'm responding, not with delay, but with destiny. My precious one, if only you could see what I see when I look upon your life. If you could catch even a glimpse of the way heaven observes you, not with cold examination or critical distance, but with the tender awe of eternity watching courage unfold in real time. I don't measure your life by failures or flawless performances. I measure by faith. I weigh the weight of your endurance, not the elegance of your expression. I watch the tears that fall when no one is around and call them holy. I listen not just to your prayers, but to the groans that had no words, the sighs that cracked through your chest when you thought no one was listening. I am. And not just listening, honoring. My gaze is not a spotlight to expose you. My gaze is a mantle to cover you. When I watch you, I do not flinch at your flaws. I marvel at your faith that refuses to die. You've stirred something sacred, something eternal, something rare. Heaven doesn't lean in for the proud. Heaven kneels for the persevering. You've endured seasons that scorch your confidence, yet you refuse to let go of hope. You've walked through trials designed to unravel you, and still you held me with trembling hands. That, child, is a sacred defiance. That is holy resistance. While others bowed to bitterness, you bent your knees in prayer. While others let go, you held on, imperfectly, painfully, but persistently. And that persistence reached me. It reverberated in heaven's chambers. It sounded like worship, like a warrior's roar, like thunder clothed in humility. Your endurance is not weakness stretched thin, it's strength stretched wide. You've become a testimony before your miracle even arrived. You need to know, your endurance has moved me. Not because you earned something my suffering, but because you trusted me when it didn't make sense. Do you understand how rare that is in a world of quick exits and short attention spans? When others gave up, you went deeper. When others chose ease, you chose obedience. You've built altars with your tears. You've planted seeds with your weariness. You sacrificed comfort to remain close to me. And that, my child, has weight. Eternal weight. Glory weight. And the time has come for that weight to be honored with a response. I am not passive about your perseverance. I'm not indifferent to your integrity. Heaven is not simply observing you. Heaven is preparing to reward you. So don't shrink under the assumption that you're being scrutinized. Lift your head and realize you're being celebrated. Not in flattery, but in truth. Not for perfection, but for your posture. The posture of a heart that kept bowing, kept believing, kept breathing, even when surrounded by silence. I've seen every trembling step. And I declare today, it wasn't in vain. It was in view, in my view. And what hath been seen in secret is about to be honored in the open. You stirred the heavens, child, and now get ready. The shift that is cunning carries the scent of your sacrifice and the power of my presence. And because heaven is watching you today, I want you to know, it's not just watching your tears or your triumphs. It's watching your heart to give. My word says in this very hour, he who sows generously will also reap generously. And this, child, is good soil. When you support this mission, you don't just send money, you send fire. You release oil into the lamps of others who are walking in the dark, unsure that I see them too. I am inviting you now. Be the one who keeps the light burning. Your generosity will ripple like a river into hearts across nations. I will bless your seed with uncommon favor, stretch it like the widow's oil, and multiply it like the loaves and fish. Click the super thanks, join the membership, or give through PayPal now. Do it boldly, because this is more than supported spiritual warfare. Come closer, my child. Let me speak directly to that place inside you that's convinced you're at your end. That quiet, aching belief that you stretched too far, held on too long, stayed strong too deeply. I see it. The silent suspicion that maybe you've exhausted all you have. But let me tell you a holy secret. This isn't the end of your strength. It's the unveiling of it. You haven't run out. You've just reached the layer that was hidden for such a time as this. Like roots beneath the surface, your strength hasn't disappeared. It's deepened. You've been buried and not broken. Pressed, not perished. Hidden, not hopeless. And what's about to emerge is not leftover willpower. It's divine resilience, forged in fire and watered by faith. You thought resilience was simply not quitting. But I say to you now, resilience is revelation. It's the revealing of what I built in you while the storm tried to erase you. Every time you thought, I can't do this but still did, that was resilience. Every time you dragged your hope into another day, every time you returned to me without answers, every time you stayed when you could have escaped, that was the strength I'm now unveiling. It's not the kind that gets praised on platforms. It's the kind that shakes principalities. It's not loud. It's lethal. Not pretty but powerful. It is celebrated not with human words but with angelic movement. And in realms you cannot yet see, there is a celebration underway, not because you were strong in public, but because you were faithful in private. Heaven does not clap for hollow achievements. It rises in honor for holy resilience. And that is what you've lived, breathed, and bled in the quiet corners of your life. There are angels right now recounting your decisions, not your dramatic moments, but your daily faith, the grind of grace, the discipline of devotion, invisible sacrifices, the unseen worship, the yes that no one heard but me. That is what heaven calls strength. And now, as your earthly strength feels like it's flickering, I am revealing the deeper reservoir. You are stronger than you know, not because you've never felt weak, but because you never surrendered to that weakness. You allowed yourself to feel, but not to forfeit. And now, I am bringing to the surface the kind of strength that makes mountains move and miracles manifest. So don't misread your exhaustion as emptiness. It's a holy signal that the season is shifting. The strength that's coming forth now isn't human. It's heaven-infused. I am growing it out. I'm growing it up. Not for a show, but for a shift. What I've built in you through the darkest nights is about to be revealed in daylight. The enemy hoped you'd mistake your weariness for worthlessness. But I've hidden glory in your grit. This unveiling will not just surprise those around you, It will surprise you. You'll begin to walk in rooms that felt too big and realize you were built for this. Because I built you. And I never build small when I see deep. And in you, child, I saw oceans of strength. So now, let me unveil what was always there. This is not your end. This is your becoming. Child of my heart, let me take you back to some moments you might have brushed past, moments the world ignored, but I recorded with reverence. Do you remember when you stood at the edge of anger, when every fiber in you screamed to lash out, to retaliate, to give people a taste of the pain they inflicted? But instead, you forgave. Not because it felt fair, not because it was easy, but because something deeper in you trusted me more than your feelings. You chose forgiveness over bitterness. That was not weakness. That was not submission to injustice. That was a sword of the Spirit slicing through the enemy's plan to embitter your soul. And the moment you chose mercy when revenge seemed justified, heaven thundered. Yes, louder than storms, louder than choirs, your quiet decision shook my courts because it was drenched in divine courage. And that wasn't the only time. I watched you when your mind was flooded with worry, when bills mounted, when doctors gave bad news, when your heart trembled with uncertainty. You had every earthly reason to spiral, but you lifted your hands. You whispered, I trust you. You sang songs you barely had the strength to believe. You danced with knees that buckled under pressure. That kind of worship isn't ordinary. It's weaponized wonder. It moves mountains, parts waters, and paralyzes hell. You didn't sing because everything was solved. You sang because you believed I still sat on the throne. And child,